Hello everybody and welcome back to Crafting with Crystal. I'm Crystal. Today's craft is going to be a multi-holiday kind of thing. We're going to make a pumpkin / ornament fabric, no-sew one. So this has no sutures, no needle point. You aren't going to need anything like that. You're just going to need fabric. Of which I already have my little pieces here. I cut out 8 pieces altogether of 2 different types based on what I already did here, which we will go over. You will need scissors, of course, to cut your fabric down, and a butter knife or something to cut your styrofoam with, and of course your styrofoam ball. So you can see I've already started marking out my midway. It does not have to be perfect. In fact, this one started out the same way, but it looks, completely whole. There's nothing too wrong with it. Some spots are bigger than others, but that's completely okay. Unless you're a neat freak, do what you like. So that's all you're going to need for today. Once you get all your grooves in, it will start flattening on both the top and bottom, so you'll be able to just sit it, like it already has a flat bottom on this one. But you'll be able to just sit it down. I'm making a pumpkin out of this one. This one was going to be a Christmas ornament, which is why it has the little string on top. In addition, you can also get trimming because a lot of times you will want to add trim here. It can be fabric trim, or you can use little gemstone stickers. I have this as an example so I can place it on our thing when we're done, so you can just kind of get what I'm trying to go for. So it's going to be very simple, going to be very short. So get all your materials together and let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is, of course, get your styrofoam ball. If you want it more perfect, what I suggest is getting pieces of string and light coating that in black paint and then just wrapping it straight around. That way it's more even where you want it to be. Or a ruler. Obviously a ruler's not going to be as round as this, but it'll probably be more even for you. I don't much care for perfection, so what I started doing was just pushing this all the way around. And I use a butter knife specifically because there's no points to it. This is my crafting butter knife, by the way. And because the styrofoam is so pliable. So it's very easy to just push it in and keep going all the way around. So you're going to want to push your indent in about halfway down the midpoint of your butter knife. So that's one, to give you room to shove the pieces of fabric in there, because you're going to have to do 2 sides of fabric. But 2, so that you have more room in case you do need to make those grooves deeper. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my styrofoam. I'm going to do it all the way around. I'm going to do it across like this, which I've already started, across like this, one way and one way. That way I will have 4 sections on this side, and I will have 4 sections on this side, just like this, if you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm not quite done. I did get my other halfway, but I wanted to show you how easy it is once you get your cross there to just go straight down and mark your lines. So we're just pushing it in and marking out to the midline there. You are going to have to use a little bit of elbow grease so you can see how I'm just rocking this back and forth, making that indent. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine aren't going to be perfect. In fact, this center right here is going to be a little bit mixed up with all of the fabric you're going to have there. It's going to converge, and you're going to have a big hole there anyway. That way you can push all your extra fabric in. So up here and down here are not going to matter. But again, just carving out to my center line. About halfway down my butter knife. It's super quick if you have the finger strength. I'm going a little bit slow because I do not have the finger strength. And you don't have to worry about making them too thick because once you start shoving the fabric in there, like I will be showing you soon, it will widen itself out and you'll be able to fit everything. Okay, so I have my little orange there. It's more even on this side than it is on this side, but that's because this side was already a little bit flat and off-center to begin with. So what you would do at this point is if you have your different fabrics and they're all in large pieces, you would measure the size of basically 2 full sections and make sure that it covers both of those sections completely. You're not going to cover both of those sections. You're only going to cover one, but you do want the extra fabric because you're going to be pushing it in there. And we're going to just cut off the extra. So I've already cut mine out. I'm going to center it over the one I want to cover it. And then I'm just going to start from the top and just start shoving my fabric in there. So you should have something like this right now. It doesn't really carve that too much, but since I have room, I'm just going to force it into the styrofoam there. So now it has a nice point. So from here, you can do one of two things. You can mark off this edge with a black marker and then take it out and cut it and then try to shove it back in. Or you can do like I do, the lazy way, and just cut off the excess trim. So I just cut as close to the styrofoam ball as I can get. Good thing about the styrofoam ball and the size that we're doing is that this excess is going to be stuffed right back into the ball. So you don't need to worry about it sticking out. At this point, you can go ahead and shove the rest in. And I'm going to leave a little bit out just to show you on this side. Okay, so I've shoved it all the way in on this side, and on this side I have some hanging. So from there, I'm going to alternate my already cut fabric. Again, at this point, you would be measuring and cutting. And just place it right over the side that has the excess fabric coming out. And then just start shoving it in. So you are going to get plates like this unless you cut your fabric very perfectly. I don't know how to get rid of that. You can research how to get rid of that. I don't much care. I like it. It's not meant to be perfect. And again, those things you can cover up with your trim. So again, we're going to cut the excess off and just keep going all the way around. I just realized I didn't tell you what to do when you have this extra fabric right next to each other. So now you have it overlapping on this side. You see how this is coming over. I try to cut it as close as I could. If you have that, again, no problem. Use your butter knife and just shove that right on in there. So again, I have that fold, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Okay, so we're about halfway done. We have our alternating fabrics there, and then we have our blank side. So at this point, you will have started shoving stuff on the top side to get those edges in so much that you're now going to have a flat side. This one's a little off, but it's flat. This side's more rounded because I haven't been shoving it in as much, but let me see if I can, yeah. Okay, and then you'll notice your grooves are starting to get a little wider. You can still see some of the fabric here, and my go-to to get rid of, seeing that extra fabric, if you do see it, is to get a piece of string that I like the color that complements both of these different fabrics, and I wrap it once I'm done with all the sides really tightly in between each one of these things. One, it's kind of like a trim, so you don't have to add a trim if you use the yarn, but two, it will hide those edges. So with this one, I'm not going to do that because I don't have string. I am going to use this as an example. These are the self-adhesive gemstones that you can get from Michaels. I did get the styrofoam from Michaels. The rest of it I just found lying around my house. So if you want to hide those, just keep that in mind. That's something extra that you might want to grab ahead of time and bring to your table. If not, you can complete it and then have it sit aside for the moment, and then go find trimming or yarn or gemstones or whatever else that you would like to add to your particular ornament / table decoration. Again, I use this one as an ornament, but this one I'm going to use as a pumpkin to just sit there. I might add a little stick at the end, but you can add whatever you'd like. Okay, as I'm coming to the last one, I'm actually digging this in here because they're so tight now. So I'm just kind of shoving that extra fabric in there. Hard to show you as I'm doing it because I need the table. Again, this is why I use a butter knife, so that I do not cut myself. Okay, so it's completely done. I do have a small space here that I accidentally cut out of. But again, if you're using this as a decoration and or even as an ornament, you're going to be wrapping trim around it, or yarn, or some of these, which I will show you now. I'm just going to do one side of this. So but yeah, so you'd have something like that, except all the way around. And these are the self-adhesive ones, not the ones that you have to glue, which again, you can get at Michael's. But yeah, you can do that all the way around, and you'll have a nice little table ornament. Super simple, super easy. Again, styrofoam is super pliable, even as hard as it is. So it's really easy to shove all this fabric in there. You can use the same colored fabric. You can use alternating fabrics like I have here. You can make rainbows. This is one of those projects that you can really do just about anything with it. Again, you can make it an ornament, put the trimming, and then add a little ornament hook. Even to cover this side, you can even put, a little scrap of fabric so that it's covered. On this one, I am making it into a pumpkin for my desk, so I am probably going to take off this trim because I don't need it, and add some orange yarn in between these, and then stick a small stick right there, something that I grabbed from outside, and I'm going to super glue it. But this is the project by itself. Again, you can do whatever you like with it. You can make it an ornament. As I keep saying, you can leave it like this. It is now flat bottomed completely since we've shoved everything and made it flat and rounded. So that was the project for today. It's super easy, super simple, super fun, and I highly recommend doing this, especially if you're doing like an ornament exchange, as I do with my friends, something that's handmade and means something to you, and you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, not necessarily blood, but something that you really put some effort into and some thought into, especially if they have certain colors that they like, is really a great, amazing gift to give for the holiday seasons. So post your pictures below. You can even find us on our Facebook page, the Clear Lake Freeman, and that way you can show us exactly what you did with your project. If you made it into an ornament, if you made it into a standalone decoration, if you made it into a garland, because you can even do that. They do have smaller size styrofoam balls than this, so you're more than welcome to do it with any size, with any fabric, with any color, with any yarn, any trimming. Basically, make it whatever you'd like to make it, as we say here on this channel. So I hope you had fun. I do so hope that you will share this with your friends, because this project was actually near and dear to my heart. It was especially fun to make, and learning about it, and doing it with my own hands without having to sew anything or really glue anything for that matter. Minimal mess. I love those kinds of projects. So share this with your friends, share it with your family. Again, comment below if this was something that you liked, if you'd like to see more of things like this in the future. But hang in there, everyone. We're still going strong. Y'all have a great, amazing day, and come back and see us next time.